as you're talking about why reasons why people may do it, whether it's recreational things like that, but ultimately some people use it to get away from whatever reality really is.
Exactly.
You know, and then there's another part to that too. How does that really affect the family?
Yeah,
overall.
Now, they have a thing that if a person is helping you get high, or when they see you get high, they don't tell you to stop getting high, or they give you money to get high. They call it an enabler.
Right.
So they enable you to help you to continue to destroy yourself. Mm-hmm. Basically, that's what it is. You know, and like I say, all this stuff starts out harmless. You know, when you're young, you think nothing of it. It's that when the addiction takes over,
right,
and you start to abuse that, that's where the problem is. You know, and I believe all of us do have addictive personalities to something.
Yeah, I mean, I know I do.
Yeah, it's just that it's not drugs. It may not be drugs.
Pepsi.
You
Pepsi.
Pepsi. You know, so some people have food addictions. Some people have TV addictions.
Right.
Some people have porn addictions. Some people have. It's a lot of addictions that you can have. But us as a race of people, not a race of people, but a people in a whole in general, have addictive behaviors.
Right.
So it's easy to become addicted to a lot of things if you abuse what you're doing. You know. But a lot of people do choose the drug because it's easy. Yo, how many times? Well, not you. Mm-hmm. I could think about a million times growing up in my teenage years, and I would smoke weed, man, and it felt like weed enhanced my brain. You know, or I smoking weed and it made me want to eat.
I will say
or
that
had me cracking up.
I mean, I would say that I had some friends who did that and they became great philosophers.
Right. You know, so but what happened? What happened? The question is, what happened that enhanced me to start doing other things? Because eventually, once I started doing the cocaine, I stopped doing the weed. I only used the weed to come down. I only would drink to come down. You know, I wasn't a big pill guy because I didn't want to. I always wanted to be on my toes.
Yeah.
So the cocaine always kept me up. I never did heroin because I was afraid of the needle. I didn't want to stick nothing in my arm. But I have snorted heroin before. You know, and I didn't like the being thrown up and all that stuff. So there are some things that you may try that those experiences push you away from certain stuff. It's just that for some reason, the cocaine and smoking of the cocaine and smoking of crack, it attracted me toward that. You know, and it kept me stagnated for a few years.
Wow.
You know, and it was just like I say, it was just lucky that I had a chance to go away, which I went to prison. And during my stay, I didn't play while I was in prison. I took my time to self-evaluate myself.
Okay.
And re-innovate and energize the person who I am. Because I was always this person that I am today. It's just that by me doing the drugs and doing the things that I was doing and going through the things I was going through mentally, you know, that clouded everything for me.
Right.
And I would think that the drugs would help and all that. But, you know, I know better today. Now, I'm not knocking anybody that people can do things casually. People can do things recreational, sure. I just can't do that stuff.
Yeah.
This is just me. I don't knock nobody for whatever you do.
Right.
You do what you can handle, you know, and I'm not ashamed to say that I can't handle that.
Got you.
You know, I admit that I can't handle that stuff. And the second thing to that, or the other point to that is this. I choose not to want to handle that anymore.
Right.
Because I do not like that guy. You know, I don't want to deal with that guy.
So, and I hear you, you know, and part of that, as I'm listening to you, is some of the reason why I didn't want to get into that myself.
Right.
You know, and ultimately how I have seen how it affected my own personal family.
Right.
You know, and I know we're talking about drug addiction, but we could talk about alcoholism too.
Yeah, because that's all part of, drug addiction.
Right. You know, so I can speak most definitely to those type of addictions.
Right.
Again, not personally, because my personal addiction is, like I said, is Pepsi. It's Pepsi and probably Brian Transformers. You know, because
and fried chicken.
Yeah, right. You know, something that ultimately I feel as though it might not damage me in the long run.
Right.
But I know that the whole caffeine, all the chocolate, whatever Pepsi is made out of, necessarily is not good for you either.
Well, there was a rumor back in the day that Pepsi and Coke added cocaine to their drink.
Yeah, especially Coke. Yeah,
they added cocaine to their drink, and that would give if you know a lot of people that's in their 60s now. Yeah, a lot of them love Pepsi and Coke.
Yeah, no, they do.
My mom loves Pepsi. Loves Pepsi to death.
Yeah,
so we don't know what is being put in our products.
No, we don't
we consume them. So
and especially because of our products being the ones that we're addicted to, most of the time are cheap.
Exactly.
It's easier to buy.
And I think that's the main reason, not just because we abuse the thing that we're addicted to. It's because it's so cheap.
Right.
It's so easy to obtain.
Right.
And imagine if education was that easy. Imagine learning how to do trigonometry that easy.
Right.
But it's a shame, and it's like I said, the good thing is this. Where I'm at my point in my life is that I can recognize that stuff now. I can see that now. I know. I just happen to be fortunate enough to know what my limitations are, what I do not need to take, and what I do not need to do.
Have your kids ever come to you and talk to you about that? How your lifestyle might have affected them?
Well, no, not per se, because I know that my children are much older. My youngest is 21. My oldest is 33, 34 now. Mm-hmm. And two of them have families of their own. And I know that it affected them, but because they were younger, I don't know if it was a big effect. Now, for me being out their lives, sure, that affected them because of my drug use.
Right.
Now, you can ask any of my sons. They'll never tell you they've never seen me drink in front of them. Mm-hmm. I've never smoked a cigarette in front of them, a joint, or ever got high in front of them.
Okay.
But have I been high in front of them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got you.
I have been high around them numerous times. Yeah. It's just that they didn't know what that was at that particular time. But for me to do something in front of them, no, I've never done that.
And see, I could speak to that also. Just seeing family members high as a kite.
Right.
Or even seeing people. Now, I did see a family member shoot up in front of me, though.
Right, yeah.
With the band and everything else around the arm.
My experience was the belt.
So I did see that,
right.
Which also led into domestic abuse and everything else. So, there's just with that, it goes into a whole nother place.
Yeah.
It goes into a whole other place. And I apologize, for this show. If it's not too upbeat, it might sound sad and dreary, but this is a real serious topic. Where
It is. Yes, it is.
Where it really affects our community, but ultimately, first it affects the family.
Right.
It affects the family first. So whether it's like, as Arnold was saying earlier, about stealing or causing some kind of ruckus, any one way or the other,
right?
Causing money to come out the household, whether it's, again, stealing stuff and having to replace it, whether it's getting you out of jail,
right?
So many other effects to that. And ultimately, how does that bring down your community?
Right.
So your house might have been worth $200,000, but because you had all these other situations kind of going on, that brings down property value.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. If that person keeps busting out the windows, mm-hmm. Thinking that they Superman and right. all that crazy stuff, you get what I mean? And we're not judging, most definitely, but understand how this ultimately affects the outlook on your particular community, right. your neighborhood, and how it will trickle down.
Right. Exactly.
It trickles down. Exactly. So because of what I saw as a youngster, mm-hmm. contributed to me not wanting to do that as an old head.
And see, with me, it was different. that was the old heads. They did their things. They were in the corner drinking, hanging out. See, when I was a young buck, they were taking beauties and uppers and downers back then.
Right.
And smoking weed.
Right.
Like I say, at that time, cocaine used to be a rich man's game.
Right.
So, you had some money, you really, really seen that. I'm sure you've seen the guys with the golden straw. I mean, not the straw, but the golden spoon around your neck.
Uh-huh.
So, you were like, yo, what's that for, man? That joint is cool. I like that. Mm-hmm. And that was the, so they can take a hit.
Right.
So they can snort.
Right.
But when that stuff became so available to you.
Yeah.
And to see so many people doing it, and to associate that with having a good time and all that, and that plays a trick on your mind.
Yeah.
You know, so when you correlate that with you have all this going on, your friends are doing this, then you have mental issues.
Yeah.
You know, you having problems or whatever's going on in your family or your lifestyle or whatever, and then to throw drugs into the mix.
Yeah.
You know, I can see how a person gets trapped.
Right.
I can see how a person becomes addicted. I can see how a person can allow themselves to fall so far down.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I just want to say real quickly that if anybody that's out there that's using any type of drugs, if you want to get off drugs, you can do it.
Right.
You know, I'm sorry I don't have any hotline numbers right now for you or any program addresses and stuff for you right now. But I'm sure we can probably post something later on. But if you really, truly want to get yourself clean, you can do it. You can do that. And it's people, I know people that's there that want to help you. And I know your family probably want to help you, you know. And I know people may think, if I'm on drugs, why am I listening to your show? Hey, you might be listening to our show. Somebody's riding by in the car.
Yeah.
You know, you might hear my voice. You might like the tone of my voice. You might like the tone of Reese's voice. But there are programs out there. There are hotlines. If you really, truly want to get help, you can get help. Yeah. But it all begins and ends with you.
So one of the hotline numbers I found is for addiction resource. Is 888 459 5511. Again, 888-459-5511.
And that's under addiction resource?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, so if you want to take a look at what's going on in your life and want to make a change, understand that again, everyone has some type of addiction.
Right.
You know, and if you need more than just drug addiction, or or you don't feel
inadequate about yourself, or you don't feel okay about yourself.
Yeah, because sometimes going AA meetings and NA meetings or whatever, sometimes you feel kind of off or whatever, but sometimes you just need that encouragement.
Right.
You know, you need someone to kind of help you go through, and also understand that trouble don't last always.
No, it doesn't. You
know, so understanding that what you might be going through right now, it doesn't have to stay.
Exactly.
You know, you can change it. But that will also assist in building up our community, building up our children.
Right.
And showing them that, hey, 2, 3, 4 generations down the line, we don't have to be this way.
Exactly.
You know, so if you checked out our last show where we talked about family economics, and just being able to understand that, hey, by 2053, where, the black dollar is going to be next to nothing.
Yeah.
We need to start at home, and one of these type of things is finding the help.
Exactly.
Finding help, whatever it might be. Because it might be, hey, your addiction is just spending money. As soon as you make it, you spend it.
Right.
How do you learn how to really, truly save that dollar?
But you always got to remember, you got to acknowledge it and then seek help.
Right.
You have to seek help.
Right.
You have to acknowledge that there's something wrong and get an understanding of what it is that's wrong and then seek help. Because I'm here today to tell you that you can turn your life around.
Right.
You can make changes in your life. You can do things different. And I'm going to give you a prime example of a drug addict turning his life around right now. Well, not right now. He did it years ago. But right now, he's a millionaire, a billionaire. Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
When before he got the not starring role, but before he got the role of, I forget the name of the character he played in Jungle Fever, he played the crack addicted brother, and he was the one that stole the TV from the grandmother and stuff.
Yeah.
And before he got that part, he had just left a rehab for heroin addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And he played this part so well. He never had done crack, but he understands what it is to be an addict, and a junkie. And he played this part, and from there, he stayed clean. That was his whole reason to stay clean.
His name was Gator.
That's right. His name was Gator in Jungle Fever.
Right.
So, you can turn your life around.
Yes, you can.
You just have to want to turn your life around.
As long as you're alive, you can change it.
That's right.
Once you're dead, unfortunately, that's the end.
That's it, because you are the only life. You only get one life.
Right.
There's no repeats.
Unless you get reincarnated into a tree.
And if you do, let me know.
Yeah, right.
Because I ain't got no problem talking to a tree.
Now, the only thing is that if you turn into a tree, somebody might smoke you, though.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
Yeah. But keep in mind, as I said before, you can always call that drug addiction line.
Yes.
888-459-5511. Again, 888-459-5511.
And that's the Addiction Research